Hey guys, we're going to be doing something a little different. Our previous YouTube videos on this game, if you've watched, have been a little bit more structured. We're going to do something a little more off the cuff today. We're going to be reviewing the cards for all the regions.
Yeah, starting with Demacia. So any of the grayed out cards are unfortunately cards that I don't own in my collection as of right now.
Right, so deal with the lack of color. It's okay.
But you can still see them in all their glory. Look, why
is he grayed out here and then he gets colored that way?
Interesting.
We're also going to be rating them
1 through 5 stars.
1 through 5 stars, yeah.
Yeah. So
we've not really thought about this beforehand. So
no, we didn't. So 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. I think we can even do partial stars for some
2.5 stars.
I mean, we can. Sometimes cards might need that, but we're gonna start off with the champions. Obviously, Lucian's being the first one. 2 mana, 3/2, quick attack. When I've seen 4+ allies or an allied Senna, the light Sentinel of Light die, which is right here.
He levels up.
He levels up into Lucian, double attack. The first time an ally dies each round, rally. Can I just say, as an example, in this game, how strong champions are?
Yeah, so Lucian's a really great example of this. They're build-arounds for your decks, and they often have incredibly impactful abilities like this.
So you go from meh, because honestly, this is
2 mana 3/2 first. Quick attack's pretty good.
It's pretty good, but it's meh. It's not like it doesn't. If you were just had this vanilla card, yes, you would consider playing it in a lot of decks because in Piltover and Zon, there's 2
mana 3/1 quick
3/1
attack. That's not bad.
It's not bad, but at the same time,
2 health's a lot better than 1 health.
2 health, okay.
It's literally twice as good
in this game. In this game, there is a lot of ways to deal 1 through 3 damage. Yeah. So 2 kind of falls in that middle range anyway, for literally because it has to. But I mean. But then when he levels up, goes to one of the only units in the game with double attack.
Yeah, him and Senna.
Which the combo potential with Lucian and with Senna are just insane. And his champion spell is pretty good. Rally. It's not bad.
Just a free rally.
Very aggressive. Overall, just off the top of my head, because I guess that's what we're gonna be doing. Yeah. I think that he's probably. So what do we want to do? We'll talk about this now because like I said, we're kind of making this up as we go along. Yeah. So what? 5 is meta shaping.
Yeah. 5 is like game breaking, auto include all the time.
4 is
damn good almost all the time.
Yeah.
3 is good in most decks.
Good on average, I guess. Is like what you would expect. 2 is below average.
Or 2 is probably 2. You could give something 2 stars that has like a niche use too.
Okay, so...
And then 1 is like, you don't play this in any deck.
Or you played in such rare cases.
Like it's a meme card,
yeah,
maybe.
So I think I'd give him a solid 4. I think he fits into a lot of archetypes that Demacia would use. Yeah. He fits fine into a deck built around him, units dying.
Or Senna. And with Senna.
And
the reason why I don't think he gets 5 stars is because he does want to have Senna.
Most of the time.
So he's pretty... combo-y.
The fact that he can either see 4 allies die or Senna die
does make him a little bit more flexible.
It gives him a little bit more flexibility, but the thing that buffs him up is not even the double attack. It's the first time an ally dies each round, rally.
Yeah, you get
so you swing attacks. Out, you get that other rally. It's really good. Yeah. Hyper aggressive. So I think I'm going to give him a solid 4. What do you?
Yeah, 4 is good. 4's
so
good.
Consensus generally is a 4.
4 stars.
In the 2 mana slot, there's really not much better, especially in Demacia. Fiora, which I think a lot of people would put Fiora at a 5-star card. She's you want to go over this one?
Yeah, Fiora's insane. 3 mana 3/3 challenger. First off, pretty solid. Actually, kind of low health for a challenger unit, but that's okay. If you build around her, and when she levels up, she turns into a 4/4, which is pretty decent. And if you kill 4 enemies with her and she lives, you win the game. Pretty insane. And her champion spell goes right along with her build anyway. That she helps herself survive and she kills things bigger than her.
So what I'll say is some special notes if you don't know about Fiora, because I don't know, maybe you're newer to the game, but if Fiora gets recalled back to your hand, it resets her stats.
Yeah, recall resets everything. Anytime you get
it's each individual Fiora has to kill 4, right? Not all Fioras put together.
So
making her a little bit worse.
Right. I think a lot of people would slam her right ahead and be like 5 stars. She's amazing. But I'm willing to go down to 4 stars for her because she's specific.
She does need to have a deck built around her in order for her to be effective. Would I want to play a 3/3 mana 3/3 with Challenger? I think that it would be pretty good in this game because dealing 3 damage is
pretty relevant.
Pretty relevant, yeah. Most of the time Fiora can trade up, but without some barrier type spell, without some buff of some kind, she kind of just dies most of the time.
Yeah, she does kind of just die.
And the fact that she has to deal 12 damage overall. She has to kill 4 things.
Right, which can be hard. I mean, there are spells in Demacia specifically, especially to help her kill stuff.
Right.
But that's such a huge build around. Sometimes you're going to play Fiora and she's just going to die and you're not going to be able to do anything. And that really sucks.
Yeah.
She requires a lot of setup, and I think that's why she's not a 5-star.
Yeah, I think that she's a 4-star as well for me.
Yeah, but she's an insane build around, and the decks that play her are meta and really, really
when
strong.
She works well, she works extremely well.
Yeah, but I've stomped Fiora decks because I never let them get off the ground.
I've also played against Fiora decks where if you give them any leeway at all, they just roll over you.
If you see them playing Fiora in the deck, you just save your removal on it.
It's pretty polarizing either way. There's not really a good middle ground like, oh, this is a good mid-range card.
Yeah.
I think that she's a good build around, but that's about it. Now we're going to be talking about the best all around dude in Demacia.
He is so all around as he is in League of Legends.
5 mana 5/5 regeneration, which is a good ability. Level up, he's struck twice. He turns into a 6/6 with rally. I mean,
every round rally.
Yeah, every round rally. Sorry, start of every round. Attacks. So basically, he can fit into any deck, literally any deck.
Yeah,
doesn't matter what deck you want to run him. If you have a Garen, he can come down. He can affect the board in some way. Most of the time, it's for trading. He'll value trade a lot.
If you can give him Challenger with cards like On Guard, he can really, really, really get it done. Or you can have him kill stuff with single combat or other, which we'll get to later. They're actually going to be down below here.
Elite.
He's an elite, so he goes into the elite deck, which is a meta deck right now.
Yep. And his champion spell is Judgment,
which is just it's a board clear.
Yep.
It's 8 mana, so it's a bit costly, but it is a board clear. It's the only board clear in Demacia, so.
I mean, I think all of the board clears are more expensive or they're slow. Like the only one that I can think that the cheapest board clear is Avalanche technically.
Yeah, I mean it's not necessarily a board clear either. It doesn't say kill everything.
It doesn't. It's deal 2 damage, but you could qualify it as a board clear. Yeah, anyway.
But against most decks, when you play it, it's going to clear the
board.
But
I mean, I think Garen is solid. I'd give him a solid 3 stars for sure.
Yeah, I don't think he breaks anything. I don't think he's a huge build around, but he's an auto include in any mid range deck. For that reason, I agree. I think he's a 3-star.
I think he's a solid 3-star. I think like he probably defines what a 3-star is.
Yeah, you could probably argue him up to 4 stars just because he is a beefy and he does level up to a 6/6.
Yeah, but
and multiple copies of him turn into Judgment. But I don't think any of those things are pushing him to the 4-star range.
I don't think so either.
3 stars.
3 stars.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Lux. She just recently got changed.
Yeah, so she's a 6 mana 4/5 instead of a 3/4 like she was before with Barrier. I've seen you cast 6 mana worth of spells, then get you a Final Spark in hand.
And when she levels up, she gets +1/+1, and still just creates Final Sparks in your hand.
Yeah, Final Spark 0 mana 4, deal 4 damage to an enemy unit. It's got fleeting. It also has Overwhelm, which is pretty cool.
One of the only spells. I think it is the only spell actually to have Overwhelm. So very cool, very unique. It is slow, and her champion spell is Lux's Prismatic Barrier. 3 mana burst spell to give an ally barrier this round and shuffle a Lux into your deck, just like all the champions shuffle the copies of them into the deck.
Yep.
This card's actually not horrible. It's not great either, but
I like it in certain scenarios.
It's good with Fiora, which we've already talked about. But Final Spark is the main thing here.
What do you want to grade her?
Probably 2 stars. I don't think she's super great.
Even with the buff?
Even with the buff? Ah, man.
She's more viable in the mid game, but she is under power level because her mana cost versus her
stat line. Yeah,
also,
she's still a little underwhelming.
You may have noticed we're wearing different clothing.
No, you didn't. Shut up.
Anyway, I think 2 stars is fine.
Yeah,
I don't think that. Yeah, I think that people are gonna build decks around her, but I really think that like Final Spark needs to deal 6 damage to an enemy and get rid of the word unit.
I mean, if you no, I don't know. That might be too much. I think 4 damage to an enemy is fine, or 6 damage to a unit.
I think maybe even 5 damage to an enemy. Just give it one more damage.
Yeah, it's a 4-turn clock instead of a 5-turn clock.
Well, you gotta spend. You have to spend
6 mana to get this
one time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's just too much.
So it's a 2-turn clock if you spend 12 mana worth of spells.
Yeah, the investment's just too much.
You have to have 12 mana worth of spells.
That's hard. It's not easy.
I mean, maybe even keep it this way if you make it so that you only need 4 mana worth of spells.
Or 5.
You know, something like that. That's a little bit easier. If you do 4 mana, you can get 3 of them in one turn. That's actually pretty considerable.
Yeah, that's not bad at that point. But as is, 2 stars.
2 stars. Now we're going into the actual meat of the cards.
Right, not all the
Chain Vest, 1 mana, give something tough, burst. Actually, pretty decent card.
Underrated. I mean, you're not. I think you're gonna play better cards in your deck, but I don't think it automatically gets the 1 star just because it's not included.
I don't even think it's a 2 star. I think this is a 3-star card.
You think it's a 3-star card?
Because so for 1 mana, you essentially prevent one of your things from dying. Because in situations, you're either making something harder to kill permanently, or you're doing it in response to something to make sure it doesn't die.
Well, usually you're doing it in response to make sure it doesn't die.
Well,
so it's kind of like a 1 mana deny, if you want to think about it that way.
I'm just saying, in Demacia, it's a kind of a counter spell.
Yeah, and you can put that on your... I don't see enough people putting it on Fiora.
The reason why it's a 3-star for me is Burst right here.
Yeah.
If this was a fast card, no. This was a slow card, hell no. Slow card, this is a 1. This is
terrible, yeah.
Fast, it's probably still a 1 star, but I think that this burst spells are so valuable in this game.
Fair.
And it's super cheap. Banking 1 spell mana to play this, worth it. I mean, is it the star of the deck? No. Is it ever going to be the star of a deck? Probably not, unless they come out with another card that. For me, it's 3. I don't know what
your opinion is. Just it's a solid card that should be in some decks.
It should be considered in some decks, yes.
I think it'll definitely be considered, but I don't think it ever makes the cut, which is why I think it's a 2-star.
Well, there's actually 3 swim decks that include.
You're right. I've seen it played.
I don't think it's a 3 of. I think it's a 1, maybe 2 of at the very best cases.
All right, I think I'll go with you here. I think I'll concede, and we'll raise it up to a 3-star.
I'm just saying, you can think whatever you want to think, but I think that this card is underrated.
I think 3 stars.
Citria, the Cloudfield. All right, now here's where we get into the interesting part, because if you play any other card games, 1 mana cards, 1 mana dudes specifically,
are a big deal.
Are huge.
Like,
they break the game.
So a lot of times they can, or they're totally useless.
So
and a lot of the 1 mana cards in this game are insane.
So when compared to the other 1 mana cards, this card to me
does not do enough, in my opinion. I don't think it does enough.
If we're talking about a constructed standard deck, I don't think there's ever a case where you put Citria Cloudfield in your deck.
It's in my version of the elite deck just because she's an elite, and in that deck she can be a 1 mana 3/3, which is slightly better.
But okay,
she's horrible when you just play her out as 1 mana 2/2 because she dies to all the other 1 mana cards.
She does.
And she doesn't give you any other value. You're looking at other cards like Omen Hawk, that buff that's a 1 mana 3/3 kind of. You're looking at cards like the one we have coming up, Fleet Feather Tracker. I mean, compared to the other cards, she just flops.
So
she's harder to remove than the other cards, but that's
barely
because you just trade it.
I think for me this might be the first 1-star card.
Yeah, although she does fit into the niche of the elite deck, which is a meta deck.
I don't even think that she's that good in that
I don't
deck.
think she's that good in that deck either. I play that deck. I don't think she's that good in it. I'd replace her in a minute for something that was better. Yeah, 1 star. Not much else to say. 2 week.
Fleetfoot Tracker.
Here we go.
Man, this card.
This is a good 1 mana card.
This is when you compare this card directly to the card beside it, like these are in 2 completely different playing fields.
Yeah, Fleet Feather Tracker is a worlds better.
So it grants Challenger when you summon another ally, right? So it has a downside.
Right, because it has 1 less health than that other card that we said that was 1 star. And doesn't directly have an ability. But you are going to make this ability happen every game.
And when you do, it trades up 100%.
Yeah, it's killing 2 mana cards. It's killing 3 mana cards. It's killing 4 mana cards in some situations.
So, I mean, this card is a 4-star for me. Maybe, I mean, I don't think it's meta warping.
No, it's not meta warping enough to be a 5-star.
But I think it's better than the average 1-drop.
Yeah, Fleet Feather Tracker, 4 stars, 100%.
4-star card. Mage Seer Conservator.
1 mana 1/1 last breath. Make a 6+ cost spell from a region other than Demacia. So it gives you a little bit of reach if you're playing in Demacia for weird stuff, but very slow. 6 cost spells are hard to cast and oftentimes slow.
I think that this card is so drawing a random 6 cost spell.
It's worse than drawing a card.
It's worse than drawing a card.
You can't value it.
It's like drawing a half a card.
Almost. Yeah. Sometimes even worse than
that. Even worse. Yeah, a quarter of a card. Like it doesn't. It's
too slow. It's clunky. 1 star.
1 star for you?
I don't see this fitting into even a niche deck where you're trying to. I mean, like, what does it go into the Lux deck? Maybe, yeah, sure, but like, what is that even a good?
That's
deck?
A good point. That's a good point. I think that 1 star is probably fine.
It does fit some niche decks, but those niche decks suck. So
there's not really a last breath deck that actually is good.
Not that wants to run this guy. You just run better guys.
Exactly.
Dawn Spiders doesn't even run this, and this would be good in Dawn Spiders.
Well,
it'd be fine.
Decent.
Yeah, it'd be decent, right? But there's just so much better stuff. 1 star. Lucky Poro. I love the Poros in this game.
I think the Poros automatically get an extra star just because they're Poros.
For sure.
So
they get a Poro star right out the gate. Poro star.
And then this guy's tough, so he's essentially a 1/2.
You still don't see it ran. It's still a 2 1
star
Poro.
plus 1 star equals 2 stars.
So it's a 2-star card because the Poro tag makes it fun.
Plus, look how fucking adorable
and
he is. Look at him. Look how cute he is.
And there's a Poro deck, right? It exists. It's not good, but it exists. So
he stole one of these guys' helmets, is what I'm assuming.
He did. He's hauling ass off of it. Look at him. That guy looks upset.
He's just like, man, look at
the guy right above me.
New recruit has the kind of endurance and the courage shown by our finest soldiers. Will he make it to the Vanguard someday? He's smaller than the rest, but we'll see. Vanguard Sergeant. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's good. So yeah,
2 stars.
Unfortunately, it sucks.
Tough is a good keyword, but on a 1/1, it's kind of pointless.
Yeah.
Radiant Strike. We were just talking about this card, actually.
Yeah, we just played an expedition with it, and it actually turned out to be better than we thought it was going to be.
I think that, again, because it's a burst spell,
it's a lot better.
It makes it a lot better.
Surprise combat trick that your opponent can't.
So let's compare this directly to Chain Vest, right? So what does this do that Chain Vest doesn't do? It gives it a plus attack.
But it's only for this round.
It's a temporary effect.
It allows you to trade up.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I think this falls into the same realm of Chain Vest, where it's a solid card, but it's not. You're not building your deck around it, right? It's not going to overpower your opponent's not going to go, oh no, when you play it. They're going to go in. Okay.
If this card said 2/1, give an ally plus 2/1,
it'd be insane.
It'd be. And
it better cost 2 mana, but.
I think a 3-star card as well.
Yeah, I think it's definitely 3 stars. 3 stars.
I think it goes. The combat tricks on Demacia are pretty good.
Yeah, it's solid. It's you're going to play it a lot of the time. It's going to be good. Battlesmith.
This card is, which obviously you can see I don't play the Elite deck because this guy is the cornerstone of the Elite deck.
Yeah, this guy's insane in the deck he's insane in.
He's a 2-mana 2/2 when you summon an Elite, grant it +1.
So his base stats are a little weak, but his ability more than makes up for it.
You play him early, which is essentially when you want to play him anyway, because for this kind of effect, you want to kind of snowball out of control.
And then you just play all your dudes, and you buff them up and you win. It's insane. It's really good. I don't think he's a 5-star card because he's not defining the meta, but he is 4 stars because he's defining a deck.
Compared directly to other 2-star cards, to other 2-cost cards, I think he, on average, is better than them.
Yeah, even though he has worse stats than most other 2-drops.
Yeah, he does.
He just does so much more.
But if you think about it, so
he's a 2-mana 3/3 or a 4/4 or 5/6 7 8/8, and he just
but you want to say on average you get 2 buffs off, maybe 3 buffs off of him. So he's a 2-mana. He's a 2-mana 4/4 at the best,
and that's insane.
That's pretty great.
It's pretty insane.
So yeah, a 4-star card, I agree with that. Also, he's got a fantastic beard.
Yeah, you had to get points for that. Battlesmith,
beard
4 stars.
4. Or to look out 1 star. I don't even want to go
1 star. Terrible. 2-mana 1/4. You've seen the memes. He's got a long arm. Bring it up. Look at that long arm. It's not an arm. It's a horn. But look at that long arm, man.
This long arm of the law.
What a freaking meme.
Just because it's quiet doesn't mean it's safe. Thank you for looking out on our borders, buddy, but you're bad. 1-star card. Don't even want to give it that much. Bright Steel Protector. Give a dude barrier.
2-mana 3/2. Good stats. Aggressive stats.
Trades up. A solid 3-star card if
Yeah, you play him in some decks. You don't play him in all of them. He's on auto include.
Her. Female.
Whatever, her. Okay, it's all the dudes in this deck. It's all dudes. They're all dudes to me. Okay, look at her throwing that shield in front of that guy.
I'll protect you.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, that solid 3-star card. You're protecting stuff. It goes.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let's just a small segue here. All right, let's look at this guy right here.
Yeah, he's one of the Vanguards. It's the same guy. All the faceless Demacian soldiers are the same.
I'm just saying, like, is that the same guy? It kind of looks like it might be the same guy. But anyway, yeah, 3 stars.
Yeah, 3 stars. Good solid card.
Barrier, good effect, aggressive stats, trades up most of the time. All right, Purify.
First off, this card's underrated.
I think it's underrated as well. I think, does it belong in every Demacia deck? No. Does it belong in this meta? Yes.
Yeah, there's tons of things you want to purify in this meta.
Especially late game cards. You know, this is probably a 2 of in most decks that you're going to run it in. It's a burst spell, which means it can't get countered by deny, which is awesome.
Huge deal.
People always all text and keywords from a follower. Basically, neuters. We're going to use the word neuter here.
Yeah, that's what it does. It neuters.
It neuters any of the big threats that you play late game. You just have to have an additional answer for it because it doesn't
remove it.
It doesn't remove it.
But it makes elusive guys blockable. It makes big guys that
Ledros,
like crowd favorites.
It just says, "Hey, Ledros,
you don't get to continue
you don't get
doing
to
your
do
thing.
it. You do it one time and that's it."
Right, and that's a big deal sometimes. So I don't think it's amazing. It's not going to be included enough to even make the 3-star, I think, but it's definitely a 2-star card worthy of its niche, and you're going to consider it in some builds.
Yeah, so 3-star.
Yeah, but 3-star is kind of like a generally good staple for most decks, right? It's not a good staple for most decks. If you're playing an aggressive deck,
okay,
or even a mid-range deck,
that's right. You just said 2-star. Yeah, so 2-star is fine.
Yeah, I don't think it fits into enough decks to where it's a 3-star.
Single combat, 2 mana, an ally and an enemy strike each other fast. So it can get countered. Pretty easy. But so I think that in considering the star value of this card, we have to consider Demacia as a whole and what it has as removal options.
Right, because it doesn't have a lot of removal options.
It doesn't. And this is one of the only consistent ones that you have.
Right.
Yes.
This on guard kind of you're attacking.
I mean, 90% of the time
it's a trade.
It's a trade. Some of the time you get to keep your dude alive and just kill something for 2 mana.
If you're comboing it with other cards like Right Steel Protector that we've already seen, then it has some merit there. It's good in the Fiora deck. You see it all the time where they give their Fiora barrier and they single combat you.
I think it's above average because it's one of the only removal options Demacia has.
Sure, I can see you going either 3 or 4 with this one.
I think
you run it in most Demacian decks. I don't think you run it in all of them though, and that's
because in some of them you don't care.
Yeah, you just attack.
You don't care.
You have to block. So I think
you use this to 3. This is basically is challenger on demand, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this. It doesn't say this. This is just the way my brain processes it. It says, "Hey, I'm gonna give this dude challenger. He's gonna attack this dude for free outside of combat, by the way." So
it's a pretty big.
It's
deal.
Actually better than challenger.
It's better than challenger, yeah.
So,
but I still think it sits firmly at the 3-star rank. Solid card. It's not an auto include.
I'm gonna differ from you and say that it's a 4-star card, just because of the limited removal that Demacia has access to. Yes, you can run another color, but I'm kind of looking at this. I'm gonna try to look at each region in a vacuum.
Yeah.
And because it's in a vacuum, I think it's for me it's 4, for Craig it's 3.
Yeah.
And we can I'm fine if we disagree.
We can disagree. That's the point of having 2 heads here, right?
Yes. So yeah, I think this is a great card.
I think it's solid. I don't think it's great.
Vanguard Defender, 2 mana 2/2. I love this little guy. I'm not gonna lie. This guy right here, this tough.
Yeah, very solid card.
I think that, as we saw earlier, it can eat essentially 4 damage.
Yeah, you can really use it to take down some big threats. And in the elite deck, where its niche is really strong, it's really strong. Because if you can make this a 2 mana 3/3 tough, that's insane.
Yeah, Demacia was my first love of this game. It was the first region I like.
He's biased. Don't disregard his opinion. Single combat's a 3-star card.
It's a 4-star card. What are you talking about? Don't make me make a single combat deck.
It's just Fiora.
It's no, because I'm not meta like that, and I'll make a single combat deck that's better than Fiora.
Sure you will.
Challenge accepted.
All right.
I think that's a 3-star card.
Yeah, I agree. Solid. Good, solid dude that you're going to play in a lot of Demacia decks, but maybe not all of them.
Yep. Yeah, moving on. I think just a 3-star card. It's tough. Not really a whole lot to go over there. War Chefs.
2 mana, 2/3. Good stats.
Support.
Gives a supported ally +1/+1. Not bad.
I think that I want this card to be better than it is.
Yeah, I agree. It looks stronger than it actually turns out to be.
I want it to be a good card.
Because they're just going to trade a guy into it, and then you're going to lose that buff, and they're going to eat. It's like you deal an extra damage to their Nexus one time. Because they're going to trade into that and then take the damage through to whatever.
Either that or you make a guy trade up. It's like basically having a...
You put this on a Challenger unit or on Fiora, and it starts to get a little stronger.
It's having a free Radiant Strike every turn. On a specific guy.
Yeah, and on a Challenger, I think it's got a lot of uses. I don't think it's a staple. I don't think it's even solid enough as an auto-include, but it's good.
I don't think it is either. I think that it's... If I compare this to Vanguard Defender, I think I'd rather run Vanguard Defender almost every time.
Yeah. I think it's definitely niche enough to where it fits into some good decks. And I think it's definitely...
A 2-star card.
Yeah, 2 stars because it's niche. It fits into a few decks, but not all. 2 stars.
Dawn Speakers.
Wow. Wowie, wowie, wow. What a card.
So this card is insane. This card, I think, might be the first 5-star card that we have.
It's...
I'm not... Okay, I want to think about it before I just jump right in and say 5 stars,
right,
but holy crap. So 3 mana, 1/4. Stats not the best.
Well,
but
it's not going to die right away.
But
4 health is
exactly.
important.
That's what I was going to say. The fact that it has 4 health and not 3 health makes this card infinitely better.
Right, because it's almost all of the early game removal deals 1, 2, or 3 damage.
So you have options in Freljord to shatter this.
But that's a 2-card combo to kill this.
Exactly. 2-card combo to kill 1 card. Or what? You have to do 2
Mystic Shots.
2 Mystic Shots. 2 Get Exciteds. This card is going to eat so much removal if you want to just straight remove it. Or it's going to get challenged by a Challenger unit all the time. I just made a deck around this. Craig made a deck. Craig made a deck. He made Dawn Spiders. We both made Dawn Spiders before we even knew what Dawn Spiders was.
Yeah, we didn't even look it up.
We didn't even look. We just saw this card and we're like, holy crap.
And then, of course, I'm playing it in my Elite Demacia Elite deck. So.
It is... You can play this in any Demacia deck. Any deck that would take Demacia. And it will get value.
Yeah, it's almost always an auto-include. 5 stars.
5 star. It's crazy card.
It defines decks. It's a huge part of the meta right now.
It's a snowball card. Once you get it going... Especially if you have 2 on board, man. It's just insane. Game over. It's game over. On guard.
This card's really good.
This is another one of those cards, kind of like War Chefs, that I want this card to be better than it is. I find that in a lot of the times that I want to play an on guard, I want to run on guard in my deck. I also am already running other challenges anyway.
That's true. There are a lot of other Challenger units that you're already going to be playing, especially in Demacia, because those are your only forms of removal. However... There are also a lot of beefy mid-range dudes in this region that don't have Challenger that want to have Challenger because that's the only way you're going to be killing stuff.
Yeah, so
this is a 2 of in almost every Demacia deck I make that focuses on Demacia, right? Like in Dawn Spiders, you don't need it as much, but you still play 2 of this in Dawn Spiders even. And in my Elite deck, it's insane because there's no removal in that. So forcing, giving all your guys Challenger in Demacia, if you're looking at it in a vacuum, is really strong.
I think it's a 3-star card. I don't think it's above a 3-star.
I don't think it's defining any decks, right? But I do think it's solid. I do think it's considered in every Demacia deck that you play. I agree, 3 stars.
I thought you were going to go 4 stars.
No, I don't think it's an auto-include. I don't think it defines a deck.
I think that in late game, if I top deck an unguard, I'm really sad. But if in late game, if I top deck a single combat...
You're less sad.
I'm sad.
You are.
That's why it's a 4.
Also, on guard's a burst.
Oh, it is a burst. I didn't even mention that.
So that's really good. You can play it and attack at the same time, and your opponent doesn't get to respond. You just go all out.
Yeah,
so that's something.
Lorient Duelist.
Oh man,
2-star card.
I wish this were better. I don't even. 3 mana 3/2 weak stats. Most of the time,
for
giving an ally Challenger doesn't really matter. You'd rather just play a Challenger guy or play on guard. On guard is almost always better than this guy.
It's on guard on it. Have
you ever played against him?
Nope.
I've seen him like a couple of times, and he's never been useful.
It's only when the game first came out and people just didn't have big card pools.
Yeah, I'd say he's a 1-star card even. I don't think you ever see him. I don't think you play him. I don't think you play him in a niche deck.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think he fits.
I think that being a 1-star card, yeah, I think that's fine.
There's almost always a better play. 1-star.
1-star.
Like this guy. This guy's better.
Laurent Protege,
he's not a whole lot better, but he's better than that other guy.
I think that
he's a 2/4, which has got to be, again, like we talked about Dawn Speakers, right?
He trades into 2 different things almost all the time. Sometimes 3, sometimes 4.
Yeah, you can kill tons of stuff with this guy. And your opponent's going to want to remove him if they're playing an aggressive deck, so he's going to eat removal for your other guys.
So when I think about, sometimes we're in the vacuum, other times we're out of the vacuum. That's right. But when I compare him to the other 3-drops, Dawn Speakers being an exception.
Yeah, whatever. Don't look at that. He's a really good 3-drop in these colors.
I don't know, man. He's like 3.5. He's like almost a 4-star card.
I agree. He's almost a 4-star card. I don't think he's defining any decks, but I think he's in a lot of decks. I think he's 3-star. He's not in every deck, right? But he's in a lot of them.
I'm going to say he's a 3.5-star.
I'm not willing to give him that extra half.
Fine. What?
Laurent Protege, 3 stars.
The fact that you didn't want, 3 stars.
Good card.